Hello, I'm the Masked Analyst. I'm kind of in a state of shock and a little bit of disappointment right now. I just discovered that CapnOawesome's CapnOAwesome, if you want to see the spelling, his account was just suspended this evening. Now, I admit that the captain did push the envelope at times. Some of his posts were in questionable taste. However, he was a very important voice within the atheist community. He had a lot to say. Very funny guy. And anyone who values free speech should be really upset that he lost his account this evening. As far as I know, I don't think he violated TOS. I think that what he did was important, even for those who don't like what he did, even though he was sacrilegious. It's something that people should tolerate. We should be able to tolerate this sort of speech. And so I'm hoping that everybody will go and write YouTube and ask him to restore his account. I also just learned fairly recently that MuslimResponses account was suspended. Now, I hadn't watched any MuslimResponses videos at all, but I saw, and I'll post a link in the sidebar to the video, Islamandfriends says that this guy wasn't a terrorist, he didn't violate TOS, no copyright violations whatsoever. Now, I respect Islamandfriends, Rex, and I may not always agree with him, but I certainly respect him and I trust him on that. So I'm hoping that people will go and write YouTube and ask to have his account reinstated as well. We may not like what he has to say, but it's important for people to be able to hear his voice. Now, one thing that's also a little bit disturbing to me is that I've seen in the comments on a couple of videos that are announcing this, a lot of the comments, people are jumping to conclusions that Muslims are behind the suspension of CapnOAwesome. Now, maybe they are. It wouldn't surprise me terribly if they were, but we don't have any evidence of this, and it's very possible that they're not. I might remind some people of an incident about 1.5 years ago. Nick Gisburn lost his account, and at the time, of course, YouTube helped us in this perception, but a lot of people believe that it was Muslims who flagged his account because he lost it soon after he posted a video called Islamic Teachings, and they took quotes from the Quran showing or demonstrating that Islam is a violent religion. Now, some people, Muslims, will say that they were out of context, but whatever. They were his video is probably likely to make some Muslims very unhappy. So a lot of people suspected that they were behind it, and then YouTube said that he lost his account because of inappropriate content. So people put two and two together and assumed that it was the Muslims who were behind it. Turns out that we were all wrong. It turns out that Nick had violated copyright, and it was because of he violated YouTube's interpretation of the copyright law. And so his account was suspended until quite a few months later than that he filed a counter DMCA. So people were mistaken back then. Also, Mark Bunker is a very prominent critic of Scientology. Scientology has a history of silencing its critics. So when his account was suspended, people assumed, and they still do assume pretty much, that Scientology, the Church of Scientology, was behind his suspension. It's a reasonable assumption to make, except that Mark has stated in a video that YouTube has told him that it wasn't the Church of Scientology, that it was somebody else altogether. I'm going to assume that YouTube is telling us the truth on this one. I have no idea. I really can't say who caused Mark to lose his account. But we have to be careful before making these accusations. So I would encourage people not to go in and jump in, point fingers at the Muslim community right now, unless you have solid evidence. And I'm hoping that people, everyone who's watching, will write to YouTube, ask them to reinstate Kevin's account, CapnOawesome's account, and ask them to reinstate Muslim Responses account as well. From what I gather, Muslim Responses doesn't know why he was suspended. I know of a few other people who have been suspended. They don't know why they were suspended. Nuclear Apocalypse Burke has told me that his account was suspended. He has no idea why. It would be nice of YouTube if they would let people know why, and if they had mechanisms for appeal, just in case YouTube made a mistake. But that might be asking for too much. Who knows? But in the meantime, I'm hoping people will write to YouTube, flood them with letters, ask them to restore Kevin's account and Muslim Responses account as well. This has been the Mass Analyst, under and in.